First story. I took away my ungrateful daughter's birthday gifts, punished her for going on a Disney trip without her step-siblings, now banned her from going to an elite private school, and demanded my ex pay for all the kids' tuition because my entitled daughter couldn't stop flexing her father's money at my new kids. Now everything is ruined. I F36 share custody of my 13-year-old daughter with my ex-husband M37. And a recent fight in our house has forced me to really sit down and wonder if I've become the bad guy here. For some background, my ex and I had what most would call a toxic ending. We got married young, 21 and 22, and by the time our daughter was born, he was already climbing the tech ladder. And when I say climbing, I mean borderline obsessed. He was working 80+ hours a week, constantly traveling or glued to his laptop. Missed birthdays, missed milestones. I was the one who handled everything: diaper blowouts, 3M fevers, figuring out daycare, groceries, budgeting, and still somehow pushing myself through college so I could become a teacher. Yeah, I messed up. I cheated on him. It wasn't planned, and it wasn't some fairy tale affair. It was with a coworker who simply saw me, noticed when I looked exhausted, listened, and yes, I regret it. Not because of losing my ex, because, frankly, I don't believe we were ever compatible as life partners, but because of the damage it did to my daughter's world. But I also stand by this. It was a blessing in disguise. People don't want to hear that. They think it's an excuse to justify infidelity, and maybe it is. But if that hadn't happened, I'd still be stuck in a cold, one-sided marriage. I wouldn't have the life I have now: a peaceful home, 2 more kids I adore, and a career I'm passionate about. After the dust settled and the divorce was finalized, we agreed to split custody, and surprisingly, he's been really involved as a father. He never tried to alienate our daughter or punish me through her, which I respect him for. I remarried a few years later to someone who actually shows up. He's also a teacher. We understand each other, and we raise our 11-year-old daughter and 8-year-old son together in a modest but stable home. Here's the thing, though. While my husband and I live pretty modestly, our combined income is about $85K. My ex is now stupidly successful. He left the rat race, made smart investments, and now consults and invests in startups. He lives in a $1.25 million fully paid off house in a luxury neighborhood. Good for him, but it's created a gap that's getting harder to manage. My daughter lives with me primarily, which means I'm the one dealing with the day-to-day grind. Homework arguments, screen time limits, puberty moods, cleaning up after her, and the balancing act of being a parent to 3 very different kids. Meanwhile, her dad comes in as the fun parent with flashy gifts and cool experiences. And don't get me wrong, he loves her. But it's starting to cross a line. For her 13th birthday, he got her the newest iPhone 16 Pro Max and a MacBook Air. That's over $2,500 in gifts for a kid in middle school. What 13-year-old needs that? More importantly, how do I explain that to her 11-year-old sister and 8-year-old brother, who are asking why their big sister has all this stuff when we can't even afford to replace their beat-up tablets? It came to a head when all 3 kids got into a screaming match because my daughter refused to let her siblings take turns playing Roblox on her MacBook. She was full-on crying, saying, "It's mine. Dad bought it for me. Why do I have to share?" And I snapped. I told her if she couldn't share it with her siblings at least occasionally, then she wasn't mature enough to have it. I took it away and put it in my closet. Of course, that blew up into a full drama. She texted her dad crying, and the next day he called me, saying I was punishing her for his gift. I told him flat out that he was creating division in my household, and it wasn't sustainable. It's like I'm running 2 different families under one roof. This isn't new. This has been slowly building over the years. When she was younger, he would pick her up and come back with huge bags from the mall, limited edition sneakers, Switch games, and $300 headphones. I let it go, thinking it was birthday or holiday splurging. But now it's just nonstop. Anything she asks for, he gets it. She doesn't understand money. She doesn't get that we can't just go to Disney whenever we want or buy whatever pops up on her TikTok feed. And honestly, it's not even her fault. She lives in 2 different economic realities. It's messing with her perception of what's normal. Then came the Disney trip. That was the tipping point. He told me months ago that he was taking her to Disney for spring break, which was fine. I thought it'd be a nice trip for them to bond. But last week, I got a call from another mom thanking me. She thought I was paying for covering the cost of her daughter going to Disney with mine. That's how I found out that 2 of her friends were going with them. No siblings. No heads up. I asked my daughter about it, and she was just like, "Yeah, Dad said I could pick 2 friends to come." She didn't even think about her siblings. And how could she? She's 13. All she sees is that her dad said, "Pick 2 people," and she picked her besties. I don't even blame her. But how the hell was I supposed to explain to my 11-year-old why she wasn't going to Disney with her sister? My 8-year-old cried and kept asking if he was bad, so he didn't get to go. That conversation was brutal. When I brought it up to my ex, he got defensive. Said I was trying to guilt him into parenting my other kids, and that his money wasn't a family fund. That's not what I'm asking for, but I am asking for some damn foresight and respect. I'm the one holding this house together. I'm the one dealing with the consequences of his choices. My husband tries so hard to be fair, but this stuff wears him down. Our own kids feel second tier, and it's creating rifts between all of us. And now just recently, he dropped another bombshell. He wants to enroll our daughter in an elite private high school across the city, fully paid by him. It's the kind of place that costs more than my entire yearly salary. And this is where I drew the line. I told him no. Absolutely not. I said there's no way I can have one kid attending a $35,000 a year private school while my other 2 go to our overcrowded, underfunded public school down the street. The public high school isn't perfect, but it's close, it's free, and our kids have friends there. He said, "I'll pay for it. You won't have to worry about anything." That's not the point. I know he means well, but he's not thinking about the bigger picture. What am I supposed to tell my 11-year-old when her older sister gets to go to a fancy school with pool days and McBooks, while she's still begging us for hand-me-down sneakers that aren't falling apart? He thinks throwing money at our daughter makes him a good parent. And yeah, sure, he shows up now. But it's easy to show up when you're loaded and don't have to manage a real household. I'm the one here every morning making sure all 3 kids are out the door, lunches packed, homework done, and emotions managed. My daughter has started looking down on us. I see it. She rolls her eyes when we say no to things. She pouts when we say we can't afford to eat out. She brushes off her younger siblings like they're annoying or babyish. This isn't who she used to be. Her attitude is shifting. And no, it's not just being a teenager. It's entitlement. It's privilege creeping in. And she's only 13. I'm not saying her dad can't give her nice things. I'm not saying he shouldn't use his money to give her opportunities. But there's a limit. He's creating a divide that he doesn't have to live with. I have to deal with it. My husband has to answer when our kids ask why Sissy gets everything. I'm the one managing tantrums over why only one child gets to go on trips, have the latest phone, or take private music lessons. My husband, who's been an incredible stepdad, has started pulling away. He never says it directly, but I can feel it. He used to be all in with my oldest, but now he keeps a distance. He said the other night, "She's not one of us anymore." That stung. My daughter spends more time texting her dad about things she wants than actually being present here. He's made it easy for her to emotionally check out of this house. She doesn't have to care what we can afford, because she knows if we say no, she can just ask him and get a yes. That dynamic is broken. I brought this all up to my ex. He said I was bitter. Said I was projecting my guilt over the divorce and trying to level the playing field for my new family at our daughter's expense. Yes, I cheated. Yes, I blew up our marriage. But I've also been the one who's been in the trenches with this kid every single day. I've gone to every parent-teacher meeting, every doctor's appointment, every emotional meltdown over mean girls at school. He shows up for the wins. I've been there for the rest. And yeah, I think my cheating turned out to be the wake-up call he needed. He's a better dad now than he ever was a husband. I don't think that would have happened if I hadn't walked away. No one wants to hear that because it doesn't fit the narrative. But I stand by it. We're both better parents now, just not on the same page. I told him point blank, if he wants her in that school, he better be ready to put our other 2 kids through it too. Not just because of the cost, but because I'm not raising kids in a home where one is made to feel like royalty and the others are made to feel like leftovers. He told me that's my problem, not his. So I told him to stop. Stop spoiling her. Stop giving her things we can't match. Stop making decisions that affect our household without consulting me. He laughed and said, "You want me to be less of a father to make your life easier?" No, I want him to be a smarter one. A more thoughtful one. Now my daughter's mad at me. She's cold. She barely talks to me unless she has to. My younger 2 are confused and hurt. My husband is quiet and distant. And I'm the one stuck in the middle trying to hold this mess together. I know how it sounds. I sound jealous, controlling, maybe even petty. But from where I'm standing, this is a survival thing. This is about protecting the integrity of my home and making sure all 3 of my kids grow up feeling equally loved and seen. So, Ada for telling my ex-husband to stop spoiling our daughter. Comments. Comment 1. Nah, this isn't it. You nuked your marriage, you married someone with fewer means, and now you're mad that your kid gets to benefit from the stability you couldn't give her. That's not her problem. You say cheating was a blessing in disguise to whom? Your daughter. She got a split home, a mom who now resents her for being closer to her dad, and siblings who hate her because they're being taught she has too much. That's not a blessing. That's you trying to reframe the worst decision of your life, like it's some kind of power move. It's not. You want her to give up her stuff to make your life easier. That's the truth. You took away her MacBook because her siblings felt bad, not because she did anything wrong. You're teaching her to be ashamed of the love and support she gets from her dad. You're telling her to feel guilty for things she didn't ask for. And now she's cold with you. Shocking. Your ex sucks for not communicating, but you're actively putting your baggage from the divorce on a kid who had nothing to do with it. She's 13 and probably starting to realize her life is split in two, and one side makes her feel like a spoiled brat just for existing. You're punishing her for your guilt. Comment 2. OP, I don't think you're malicious, but you're handling this in a way that's going to create long-term resentment. Your daughter is living in two separate realities, and you're trying to force her to pretend they're the same. They're not. Her dad is rich. You're not. That's life. You're asking her to dumb down her lifestyle to protect the feelings of the other kids, and that's not her responsibility. I say this as someone who grew up exactly like your daughter. Mom lived paycheck to paycheck, and dad remarried rich. I used to hide my clothes at my mom's house, so my siblings wouldn't get mad. It f'd me up for years. You're doing the same thing by taking her stuff away because her siblings felt left out. That's punishing her for the existence of income inequality. She's 13. She isn't some villain masterminding class warfare in your living room. Your problem is with your ex, not her. Take the fight to him. Set boundaries with him. Lay out expectations with him. But stop making your daughter carry the emotional load of everyone in the household. Let her have her things. Let her enjoy what her dad can give her. And maybe instead of framing her lifestyle as unfair, explain to your younger kids that different parents have different abilities. Kids understand more than you think. They just need honesty, not guilt trips. Comment 3. OP, you're not actually mad about fairness. You're mad that your ex's life turned out way better than yours did after the divorce, and your daughter is the living reminder of it. Every time she walks around with something expensive, you're not seeing a spoiled kid, you're seeing what you didn't get out of that marriage. That's why you're reacting the way you are. The private school thing. You shut it down because you couldn't handle the idea of her getting into spaces your other kids won't. But that's not a reason to block her educational opportunities. That's you punishing her for having a dad who's doing well. And you keep saying, I'm the one who does all the daily work. But that's divorced parenting. You don't get brownie points for basic responsibilities. If you hated being the full-time parent, maybe don't remove the man who would have done half the parenting if you hadn't cheated. You created this dynamic, and now you resent it. You want to know why she's pulling away from you. Because she's starting to realize that you aren't mad at her dad's spending, you're mad at her for benefiting from it. Kids aren't stupid. She feels the bitterness dripping off you. Stop projecting your guilt and jealousy onto a 13-year-old. She's not your emotional punching bag. Update. I guess I should start by clearing up something a lot of commenters attacked me for. The cheating. Everyone keeps simplifying it like I was some bored housewife who decided to sleep around for fun. That is not what happened. And no, I'm not saying cheating is right. I owned that mistake years ago. But the situation back then was far more complicated than people here want to accept. I didn't go out looking for an affair. I was alone all the time. My ex used to leave for weeks with almost zero contact because the startup he worked for was being acquired. I was handling a colicky baby, finishing my teaching degree, working part-time, and managing the entire household on my own. I begged him to slow down. His exact words were, "Work is more important than my family right now." I remember that because it was the night I had to rush our daughter to the ER after his mom let her eat grapes and she choked. I called him terrified, and he brushed it off. That moment broke something in me. The relationship ended emotionally that night. The coworker wasn't some fling I chased. He was literally the only person helping me get through the days. After the ER incident, after endless trips and excuses, I checked out. The divorce took a year because my ex refused to sign things out of spite. And during that time I did date because the marriage was already dead. So for everyone trying to blame everything today on that stop, I was drowning, and he didn't care. I am not the bad guy in that history. Now on to the actual update. Things with my daughter have been rough since the whole Disney Plus private school argument. She's been stewing, quiet, giving me the cold shoulder. And the thing is, she knows she crossed lines with the entitlement comments. She knows I wasn't wrong about the MacBook situation, even if she hated the punishment. But she's 13, and instead of processing that, she's turned it into resentment at me because I'm the parent who holds boundaries while her dad doesn't. After the private school fight, I made a new rule in my house. Any gift from her father over $100 needs to be approved by me first. If it shows up without approval, it gets locked away until he picks it up. That was non-negotiable. I can't keep having luxury items dropped into my living room like grenades. And yes, my ex lost his mind when I told him. He said it wasn't legally enforceable. I said that was fine, I'd enforce it here anyway. Our daughter cried and said I was punishing her for having a rich dad. I told her no, I was protecting the dynamic inside this house because her siblings deserve emotional stability too. Then things got worse. She started acting out, slamming doors, skipping chores, and talking back. The final straw was last week when she screamed at her brother for touching her AirPods case, which was another surprise from her dad. After that meltdown, I took the AirPods too and told her we were resetting expectations in this house. I put her on strict consequences. No electronics, except what she needs for homework, early bedtime, and no social hangouts for the rest of the week. She didn't fight it. She's pissed, but she knows exactly why this is happening. She even admitted not to me, but to her sister, which I overheard, that Dad always gets me whatever, so it doesn't matter what Mum says. Hearing that confirmed exactly what I've been trying to stop. Then the school situation escalated. My ex went ahead and enrolled her in the private school without my consent. He literally signed everything himself and expected me to just deal with it. The school called me for missing paperwork since I'm the primary residential parent. That's how I found out. I immediately refused to sign anything and told them enrollment was contested. The school backed off because they don't want legal issues. My ex told me I was being vindictive. I told him he was using money to bulldoze co-parenting boundaries. We haven't spoken directly since. To make everything worse, his new wife dropped off their son at my home for my son's birthday last month, and then handed my older daughter a freaking Switch 2 on my 8-year-old's birthday. My own son got Nerf guns from them, but my daughter got a console she's been begging for. On his birthday. I don't care what people say, that was intentional. My ex's wife tried to play dumb like she didn't know it'd be a problem. But I saw the look she gave my husband. It was smug, like, look what we can afford. I didn't say anything in the moment because I refused to ruin my son's birthday. But I told my ex afterwards he was an arsehole for pulling that stunt. He said I was blowing things out of proportion. That was the moment I fully accepted something I didn't want to admit before. He's doing this stuff intentionally. Not because our daughter needs it. Not because he's clueless. But because he resents me, resents my husband, and wants to constantly remind us that he won after the divorce. My daughter has started telling her siblings, if you want something, tell Dad to buy it. And that's when I knew she's picking up his attitude. She's turning into the kind of kid who measures love through money. I hate that. I'm angry, yes, but I'm mostly scared for her. So I reached a point where I couldn't handle the emotional fallout alone. Money is tight, but I don't care anymore. We started family therapy. I needed a professional who could help us navigate the resentment and teach my younger kids how to process the imbalance without growing bitterness themselves. Our daughter begrudgingly agreed to attend, but she showed up with her arms crossed, emotionally checked out. The therapist said it'll take time. The fallout is still happening. Nothing's fixed. The rule about gifts is still in place. The private school situation is in limbo until he either backs off or tries to take it to court. My daughter is still angry at me, but I'm standing firm. I'm not bending because bending is how we got into this mess. I know a lot of people think I'm jealous or petty or bitter. But I'm watching my daughter slip into entitlement and my other kids sink into inferiority. And someone has to protect the balance in this house. That someone is me. I won't apologize for that. I'll update again if things change. Comments. Comment 1. You need to hear this straight. You're not the victim here. Your daughter is. She's being raised in 2 completely different realities. And instead of helping her navigate that, you're making her feel guilty for it. She didn't choose her dad's money. She didn't buy herself the MacBook or Switch. You're blaming her for the power dynamic between you and your ex. You're calling it entitlement when she says things like, Dad would get it for me. But that's literally true. He would. That's not her being spoiled. That's her stating a fact. She's caught in a loyalty war she never asked for, and you're throwing all your resentment into her lap. You say your cheating was complicated and your ex neglected you, which might be true, but then you turn around and say he's now doing things to punish you. So which is it? Either he's absent or he's strategically using money to torment you. Pick a lane. Because right now it sounds like you're spinning everything through the lens of your own guilt and bitterness. Locking up gifts. Petty. I get the emotional logic, but it's not going to teach her anything, except that love in your house has strings. Therapy is good, but I hope your therapist is strong enough to call you out too, because you're reinforcing the divide with every move you make. Comment 2. YTA. You're fighting the wrong enemy. OP. I'm saying this as another mum in a blended family. You're misreading the battlefield. Your ex isn't the problem anymore. Your perception of him is. Yes, he's wealthy. Yes, he shows off. Yes, he's probably petty. But the way you're reacting is letting his behavior dictate your entire parenting strategy. You're so focused on countering him that you've stopped asking what your daughter actually needs. She doesn't need less stuff. She needs stability, predictability, and a parent who doesn't turn everything into a fairness equation. Life isn't fair. Separate households aren't fair. Mixed siblings aren't fair. You can't engineer fairness by withholding, blocking gifts, or trying to shame your ex into treating your younger two like they're also his responsibility. Here's the real truth you're avoiding. Your daughter is smarter than you think. She sees your resentment. She sees your husband's discomfort. She sees the jealousy. You're teaching her that love comes with emotional debt, conditions, and guilt. That's how you lose a kid. Your ex might be obnoxious, but you're punishing her emotionally because you can't handle the imbalance. That's the reality check. She didn't cause the situation, you did by divorcing, remarrying, and creating a new family with fewer resources. That's not her burden to carry. Update. I didn't think things would actually reach this point, but they did harder and faster than I was prepared for. I said earlier that my ex bulldozes boundaries with money, and that's exactly how the entire situation blew up. I refused to sign the private school paperwork, and my ex went behind my back and filed for a custody review. His claim was that I was obstructing educational decisions and creating an emotionally hostile environment by restricting her access to gifts that he said were necessary for her academic success. He framed the entire thing like I was holding her back out of jealousy. I told the court exactly why I stood firm, because the imbalance was destroying the dynamic in my home. But courts don't care about household harmony. They care about measurable impacts, and emotional imbalance isn't measurable. Money, though, that's measurable. He has it. I don't. The custody review ended with the judge ruling that our daughter could enroll in the private school, and that my refusal showed poor judgment regarding her educational opportunities. Since she's old enough to voice her preference, the court allowed her to choose her primary home. She chose to move in with her dad. I wasn't even surprised at that point. She'd already become emotionally distant, constantly comparing houses and constantly rolling her eyes whenever I set normal rules. It finally tipped when she told the judge that she felt restricted and punished for things she didn't do. That line stuck with me. It was rehearsed. Someone fed it to her. I don't know if it was her dad or his wife, but it wasn't her phrasing. I now have every other weekend custody. Right after custody shifted, my boss at school called me into the office. Apparently another teacher overheard me during parent-teacher conferences when I snapped at a mom for saying my ex was amazing for giving his daughter every opportunity. I didn't yell, but I made a sharp comment about how buying love isn't parenting. It got around the school. The administration said I sounded emotionally unstable during a professional event. I was put on temporary administrative leave. That shook me more than losing custody. Teaching is the one part of my life I never screwed up. Then came the silence. My daughter didn't call, didn't text, and didn't ask to visit outside her scheduled weekends. My attempts to reach out got short replies or no replies at all. Eventually, I stopped trying because I refused to chase someone who doesn't want to be connected to this family unit. And yes, family unit. That's what I care about. What I've always cared about. Not the gifts, not the money. But the damage hit all sides. My son 8 started saying things like, I want to live with her dad too, so I can have cool stuff. The first time he said it, I cried in the bathroom so he wouldn't see. My younger daughter 11 withdrew too. She asked me multiple times if she wasn't special enough for the same opportunities. She's been quieter, more anxious. I put both of them into counseling after I realized the fallout wasn't temporary, it was turning into long-term insecurity. My husband, he is exhausted. He's been supportive, but I can tell he's worn down. He told me outright that he feels like he can't compete. Not with the money and not with the emotional drama. He said he's tired of waiting for things to settle. I can't blame him. He stepped into a blended family, ready to be a dad to all 3 kids. But the constant comparison between our house and her dad's house wore him thin. We had a big fight after I broke down over another ignored text from my daughter. He said, "You can't force a relationship with her by punishing her dad. She's gone. And you're still trying to win a fight she's no longer in." That hurt. But he wasn't wrong about the fight. He was wrong about me trying to win. I wasn't trying to win, I was trying to protect the 2 kids who still listen, still love, and still choose this house without conditions. My finances crumbled next. With the administrative leave, therapy bills, and trying to keep my younger 2 engaged in activities to make them feel valued, I fell behind on payments. I maxed a card trying to give them something to look forward to after their sister left art classes, new shoes, a weekend trip that I had to cancel at the last minute, because I realized I couldn't pay the gas bill if I went through with it. That cancellation broke them. They didn't blame me, but I blamed myself. I stopped therapy for myself because I couldn't justify the expense. I kept therapy for my kids because they need it more. Communication with my ex is now strictly through the court-appointed parenting app. No direct calls, no texts. He made it clear he doesn't want to engage unless legally required. His wife, who used to pretend to be friendly, no longer even looks at me during drop-offs. A few weeks ago, I finally admitted something to myself. I will not be the one to rebuild my relationship with my daughter. That will be on her. She made her choice. She's in her new life, now private school, expensive trips, no boundaries, no rules, everything handed to her. I can't compete with that, and I won't try. When she's older, when she has her own family and learns what it actually means to raise kids as a unit, not as a financial performance, that's when we'll talk. If she wants to. Until then, I respond when she speaks first. Not out of spite, but out of self-preservation. I'm slowly recovering. My focus is on the 2 children who stayed, who still see our home as a family, not a downgrade. My husband and I are trying to rebuild our stability, piece by piece. I'm not over what happened, and I probably won't be for a long time. But I'm done fighting a losing battle against money, entitlement, and a man too petty to understand the damage he caused. My daughter can go to the elite school. I'm genuinely happy for her. But abandoning your siblings has consequences. Letting wealth define which home matters has consequences. And she's too young to understand that now. Her father refuses to understand it at all. My husband might understand it, but he's exhausted by it. I'm just trying to protect what's left of my home. Comments. Comment 1. OP, I say this with zero malice and full clarity. You lost this fight the moment you made your daughter responsible for the emotional balance of your household. You needed her to be the glue. That was never her job. You tried to create a family unit, but you didn't build one. You built a comparison trap. Every rule in your house became a response to something your ex did. Every restriction on your daughter was framed as fairness to your other kids. But fairness isn't making a kid feel guilty for having a parent who provides. I get it, your ex is an arsey hole. He's weaponizing money. He flaunts his wealth. And yeah, buying your daughter a Switch at her brother's birthday was a effing power move. But you didn't neutralize him by punishing the girl caught in the middle. You just made her feel like a liability. Now your son wants to leave. Your husband is emotionally fried. And your daughter's gone. You didn't lose everything because you were unfair. You lost everything because you didn't realize you were asking your child to choose loyalty over love. She chose love on her terms. You better be ready for that to be permanent. Comment 2. I don't doubt you love your kids. I don't doubt your ex made things 1,000 times harder than they needed to be. But you've made pride your compass, and look where it's led you. Job on the line, daughter gone, marriage hanging on by threads, and 2 kids quietly wondering if love comes with terms. You said something that really stuck out. When she has her own family, she'll understand. That's a long game built on the hope that pain will eventually justify your parenting. That's not healthy. That's not love. That's ego. Your daughter didn't abandon her siblings. She escaped a situation where every move she made was questioned, limited, and politicized. You lost her not because you were strict, but because you made her feel like her very existence was unfair to your other kids. It's not too late to start owning your part in this. But it is too late to act like you did everything right. Don't wait until she's 30 and estranged to realize that being the parent who stayed doesn't count if you stayed bitter. Second story. I found my girlfriend of 2 years on Tinder. When confronted, she demanded to know who showed it to me, tried to blame me, and then said it was not serious. Background info, I suppose. My girlfriend and I have been dating for over 2 years, and we've been living together for a year and a half. I work in the ER and on the ambulance, so I work long 12-hour shifts, days and sometimes nights. I clocked out of my shift at the hospital earlier today, and while I was walking out, a couple of my nurse friends asked me to wait for them so we could walk out together. I didn't think much of it, as the three of us are super close due to a trauma bond and working together for about 2 years now. As we got outside and into the parking lot, my friend, who we will call Anna, said, "Hey, I need to show you something, and I'm sorry that I am the one showing you." Anna pulls up her phone and says, "Alyssa was swiping on Tinder and came across this profile." She turns her phone and shows me a screen recording that Alyssa took of her Tinder profile. Sure as SHT, it's my girlfriend. The only thing is that all the photos are old. Like, I am positive that these are old photos because they're all photos I came across on her Facebook after we became friends at a previous job we both worked at. Obviously, regardless of the age of the photos, seeing my girlfriend's Tinder profile popping up on my friend's phone was quite a shock. They both apologized profusely again and told me they loved me and that I could call them tonight to talk if need be since we're all off tomorrow. I told Anna to send me the video, gave them a hug and left. On the way home, I was talking to Gemini about Tinder profiles and how long they stay active after the app is uninstalled, or whatever the case. From what I can find online, it seems odd that her profile would be active after over 2 years. I'm home now. My girlfriend noticed something was up with me, but I told her we would talk about it later, after her class, and after her son 10M has gone to bed. I just want to know how I should approach this. Thanks in advance. TLDR. My coworker showed me a video of my girlfriend's Tinder profile, but the photos are old. We've been together for 2 years, and I feel like it's unlikely that her profile would still be active after that long. Comments. Comment 1. Yo, if someone's Tinder account is showing up, they've been active in recent months. If they're inactive, it doesn't show the profile after a certain amount of time. If you've been dating for 2 years, then, I have bad news for you, unless it's someone using her photos and name. Comment 2. It isn't complicated, but it can be emotionally difficult. My coworkers have a video that records a Tinder profile that looks like yours. Show her the video. Is this your active profile? Comment 3. Do you think anyone is catfishing or scamming with her information? OP. I don't think so, as her Spotify is connected to the account, and the account is photo verified. Comment 4. Yeah, if it's photo verified, she's 100% active recently, if she's appearing to other people after you've been dating for 2 years. Comment 5. First things first, remain calm. I would sit her down and tell her that something's been brought to your attention that concerns you because of your relationship values. Then I would show her the screen recording and ask her if you guys are okay, and then let her explain herself. Depending on her answers, you may need time to process things. OP. I'm pretty calm considering the circumstances. Unfortunately, I am known for my happy-goofy personality, so people always know when something is wrong. I was going to tell her that I have had zero doubts about our relationship thus far, but that I was shown a video of something that concerns me. I was going to show her the video, and then ask her if we could pull up her phone, download Tinder, so I can see if there are new messages or anything like that. Judgment NTA. Update. I know a lot of you were wanting an update, so here we are. I will also add background info/clarification, as I wrote this whilst my head was spinning 1,000 miles per hour. Her child is 10 years old. I can see how the 10M could be confusing. Yes, my girlfriend is bisexual. Yes, so is Alyssa, who originally found her profile. I imagine Alyssa sent the screen recording to Anna, because either she felt Anna and I were closer, or because Alyssa wasn't at work, but Anna and I were. Not sure, didn't ask. But to the ones who suspect that they're just trying to break us up for no reason or out of jealousy, that ain't it. Okay, so after my girlfriend was done with her online class, and after her son was in bed, we both sat down on the couch to talk. It took me a few seconds to get the words out of my own mouth, but I told her that I was shown a video of her Tinder account. To which she replied, "Who showed you?" And that pretty much answered all my questions, and my head started to spin even faster. I told her that I wasn't sure why that was even relevant right now, but she insisted, so I told her Anna showed it to me. She has also met Anna and knows that Anna is straight, 6 months pregnant, and married. I told her that Alyssa had sent it to her, and she showed it to me. Again questioning why this was relevant, I again asked her if she was on Tinder. She replied yes. She admitted to downloading it a week ago and attempting to match with women for flirtatious conversations attention. She did show me the messages, and I confirmed that they were all with women, and that they were all just flirtatious conversations. She assured me that she had no intentions further than flirtatious conversations, and I believe that, as she is 30 pounds heavier now and rocking a pixie cut, but still using photos from 3+ years ago. She said she just downloaded the app and logged right back in and didn't edit anything about the profile from before. She also got very defensive. She brought up an argument from the past, trying to deflect and somehow make me look like the arsehole here. I called her out on it, but was also trying to keep my cool in between, still trying to come to terms with the fact that this was really happening. The last year hasn't been easy for us. Between health issues, job issues, the cost of living going up and getting laid off work issues, it's been rough. She said she's felt like something has been missing between us lately, that she's so lost that she doesn't know what she's doing. She sobbed and told me she made a really stupid mistake, to which I agreed. I told her how stupid I felt because when I was shown the video by my friends, I almost just laughed it off because it was so out of left field and the photos were old and SHT. I told myself, there's no way. I don't know what to do. As said previously, we have lived together for 2 years. I contribute my income to the home mortgage and all other monthly bills. She co-signed on the car I bought because I started developing credit late and had SHT credit. We have the same phone plan. We're on the same car insurance. So much of my life is wrapped up in the relationship. I don't know where to begin unraveling it. I don't know where to go. Currently, I think I am sticking it out here until I can build up my credit and hopefully my savings. I just got laid off at one job, so I'm working part-time in the ER until I start my new job on December 1st. I'm honestly just so lost myself, lol. I know I should leave, but I care about her. I am scared to put her and her son in a bad spot. After the year she's had, I don't know what she would do. She doesn't have a support system behind her. She has me. Comments. Comment 1. This would be immediate breakup territory for me. These are issues she should have brought up to you for conversation as opposed to seeking outside validation. She's putting herself before the relationship. Her need for attention will continue to grow. Eventually, harmless flirting won't be enough, so she will take it a step further. She's in a committed, monogamous relationship. The only person she should be seeking attention from is you. Comment 2. Right? She's not sorry she did it. She's just sorry she got caught. Comment 3. She emotionally cheated on you at the least. She actively hid other relationships from you. I couldn't trust her. And there isn't any reason to be in a relationship with someone you don't trust. OP, I know. Comment 4. Who TF cares about why you are stuck together? If you are sticking it out, did she at least say she will delete Tinder and anything else to make it right? Otherwise, you're a effing chump. You didn't say she was sorry or remorseful. She turned it on you right away. Nothing sounds salvageable. OP, she did delete it, and she was remorseful. Not that it was very helpful in that moment. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.